G'day, folks. Happy Saturday. Our next mate is one of the league's current premier forwards, starting as a draft pick in the high 70s. Nick, high 70s. I don't know what you were, 73 actually. I know.
Yeah, 73, yeah.
Nick has risen to be a leader and beloved North Melbourne icon. Not only that, his nickname is Souva. Can we please welcome our mate for the week, Nick Larkey?
Woo! Thanks for having us, guys.
Souv.
Thanks for having us. Good to be on.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Now, let's start with let's get out of the way. You're joining us today as an official ambassador of Love the Game program, which is a campaign to aim at reducing young people's exposure to betting promotion. Now, firstly, can I just thank you for doing that? That's
All
awesome,
right.
genuinely. Can I just ask why did you want to be a part of that?
Oh, I just think, you see the effects it has on people, young people particularly, and it's prominent, happens all over it's just happening to young people heaps. So it's just, you can see how addictive it is. I've never been one to be addicted to it, and I honestly think like doing sweeps and stuff, I like a little bit here and there, but I feel like, there is a stage where it obviously affects people pretty seriously, and the more awareness and talk around, the fact that it might actually not be doing too much good stuff for people is always good to talk about too.
Well said. I feel the same way. Like we've talked about it a bit on this show a fair few times. Where because I'm 100 years older than you, Nick, but like growing up, it was nowhere. Like watching TV, you could genuinely get through without seeing anything about it. In fact, I watched on Rhett Bartlett's YouTube channel from like 2006 or 7 when YouTube, when Channel 10 had the coverage. They'd throw once to like an old man with his like wooden "here's the odds" thing, and you're like, oh, okay, that's the odds for today. That's good. And I was like, if that was today, they would have cut to he would be a co-host, and it would be just so much more of it. But I don't know. Thanks for calling it out. Now, I just said that you're 100 years younger than me. You're 26, and I look at how you play, and you play like you're a co-captain of your club.
Vice captain.
Co-vice captain.
Co-vice, yeah.
I get confused at the co and the vice and all the add-ons.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
But you're a leader of the club. You play like a leader. Like you're not just a run-out forward. You're someone who goes up the ground and gets kicks for yourself and then works back into the game. Is that fair to say? Like you play
here and there, yeah.
You're a leader. You're a smart footballer, but you also do other cool things. Do you feel like you're 26 or do you feel older?
Well, I feel like I probably feel like I'm older just because the way it's panned out so far for my career at the club. I reckon put a few years on me, some of the tough years.
Yeah, because you got drafted. Were you 18 when you were drafted, or?
Yeah, straight out of school, 18. Yeah. But I've loved every minute I've spent it at North, despite the win-loss. But certainly like throughout my career, I've had to step up. When I got the leadership positions or was voted into the leadership group or the role I have now. And even, the demographic of our list before this year was we didn't have Parks, Kayla Daniel or Jack Darling, which have added some serious experience to the group. And before that, I think I was the third oldest player or something, the third or fourth oldest player at the club at 25, 26. So I was like... Yeah, so you have to.
When you're the older brother, you feel like the oldest, even if you're not.
Yeah, 100%. You got more responsibility, and I felt, I think, and we all had to sort of step up in that sense, and you have to act a bit older than you are, instead of necessarily acting your age. But I think that's, when you got a young group, that's the philosophy you got to have is like, how can you fast track development, improvement? You got to put the onus on yourself to probably grow up a bit quicker. But yeah, so...
Good on you, because sometimes I know from Melbourne, like the days when we had 21-year-old captains, you could argue that maybe stymied their development. Do you feel like being a leader has made you had to worry about other things apart from yourself, or do you handle being a leader and also worrying about yourself okay?
It is a tough balance, but I feel like it's while it has more responsibility, it's also been it's also a great honour, and it's something like I'm proud of that the boys entrust me to be that player or to be that person in the club to help bring it forward. And if I was drafted to a different club where the age demographic was different, I might not have had these incredible opportunities. Not everyone can say they were a vice captain or in a leadership group of a AFL footy team. So while it is a bigger responsibility, I'm also super grateful that I've been able to have that opportunity that I might not have had elsewhere.
When you're in year 12, right? Did you have a part-time job when you were a kid?
No, I've never actually had a job outside of football.
First job was an AFL footballer?
Yeah, well, I coached my sister's basketball team, but that was
Did you get paid for that?
$300 a season.
Did you get paid to coach a basketball team?
Yeah.
So you're Doc Rivers, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where maybe the tactical nous came from.
So
there wasn't much tactics.
So when you're 18 and you get a job as an AFL footballer, and all of a sudden you're getting paid a monthly wage, what is that like? From going to no money to lots of money, what happens to your brain?
Yeah, I mean, well, at the start of, that's a good question. At the start of my career, I was, because I'd never seen that sort of money. I mean, I'd literally have the pocket money, which is, I can't remember, Mum would be like, I can't remember what it was, maybe $10 a week or something for pocket money. You do your chores and whatnot growing up. And then when you get those lump sum payments monthly into your account, I was still like, because money was not scarce, but like when you had your pocket money, you want to save it. I was still pretty frugal in my first few years of like, I thought when I had this money, I'm like, oh, geez, I was kept spending the same that I sort of was. I didn't, lash out or buy extra. I'd shout a few more drinks at the bar because I felt.
Did you feel obligated to?
Huh? Yeah, I felt obligated to for sure. And then, you just become a predicament, or you just become something of the predicament you're in. So, like, the more you're in it and more you get paid and the more comfortable you're in, you just end up spending more.
I think about De Koning getting the offer from St Kilda, and you don't have to talk about this, but I'm just going to say some things. But they're talking about offering him 1.7 over
6 years,
6 or 7 years. And I was doing the maths on the monthly, if it was paid monthly.
Yeah.
And it would be over 100. It would be $110,000 being paid into his account without tax being removed from it, and that would
before tax.
Before tax, yeah. So I imagine you'd lose a bit of that, but that's still unfathomable. And I know football players as well who pretty much just get it directed straight to some sort of manager who gives them an allotment because
allowance. Yeah.
Are you across your stuff, or do you have a manager?
Yeah, no, I've always been across my own stuff. I mean, like my managers helped me out with like getting my property, like getting into the property. But I've been lucky because mum has got like sort of an accounting background. She's an accounting teacher, but she's super smart with money, budgeting, all that stuff. So I've been lucky to have mum and dad as parents, and they've really, helped me. But I've always found it pretty all right to manage my own money.
And she the one that was giving you the $10 a week?
$10 allowance.
Okay. Was that outside salary cap, or was that within salary cap?
Yeah, that was after tax.
Now, who's the club who was paying you $300 to coach your sister's basketball team?
The Nightmares. They're called the Nightmares. Yeah.
Where's that?
There'd be Campbell or something like that. Campbell Nightmares.
That's a great name.
Oh, mate, did my head in coaching that team. Like,
did you run triangle or what?
They would have been in year 9 or 10. Yeah, in year 9, I reckon. And no one's there for this to play basketball seriously. Everyone was just there to take the piss. So I'm like, I was just like, well, how do I actually coach this?
Yeah.
You just try to get them to have a bit of fun.
When I was growing up playing basketball, I thought I was learning, but no one. Like, and I played to an okay level. Like, I played district for about a week. Yeah. And I realized, like, growing up, we moved to America for a bit, and I would go Saturday morning, go play pickup in LA. And just, like, big dorks were better than me and could shoot better than me and I was realized that I had actually never been properly coached to shoot or how to, like, run an offense. And it was literally just run, and I regret it. And I hope today that basketball people, like, kids are learning. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like, it is annoying because you can be, obviously the best attribute you can have in basketball is to shoot the ball. I could never shoot the ball. I was just there for a rebound. But I was never properly taught either.
Yeah, that's annoying. But if you could shoot, you'd be making like $11 million a year now.
Yeah. You put it like that, maybe I should have put more time.
Yeah, because I was
never good at basketball.
You're like Ben Simmons' height. So if you could shoot, you're already ahead of him. So on your Instagram, it says, I'm sorry to say this, it says footy, camping, painting, sinking, yarning, and ranging off.
Yeah.
So footy, I know what that is. Camping, do you like camping?
Yeah, I love camping. Yeah,
Can you sell me on camping? Because I rarely camp and I just get afraid of it raining. Like I get to a place when it camps and
Really?
I'm like, this is beautiful. I should live out here in the rough.
Yeah,
I should be part of nature. And then as soon as it rains, I'm like, fuck this. I want to go home.
You don't check the forecast?
Well,
Maybe just don't go when it rains.
It's as simple as that.
Simple as that. I mean, I don't like camping when it's raining either, but
Okay. What areas do you camp? Like, not to dox your camping site.
no, so I got here and there. Mum and Dad have got a property in Taggart, like near Lake Eildon. So you go northeast, and there's some good spots around there. But even just like, and I've got a mate who also has a property around there. And it's not like I don't venture out into wilderness and camp and make my own fires and
Do you
stuff.
watch
It's
Outdoor
more about
Boys?
like I like in a swag, like when you're outside.
Yeah.
Outdoor Boys. No, what's that?
That's Tom's favorite YouTube channel.
It's a great YouTube channel.
Really?
It does
You've just found your next favorite YouTube
Really?
channel.
I'll have to get
It
it
does
on.
like hot tent camping in Alaska and like -80 and stuff.
Oh,
he builds
really?
a fire in the tent and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah, right.
Yeah, crazy
He
stuff.
builds houses in snow and shit.
Yeah. He like digs up the snow and builds like ice walls and stuff. And yeah, it's crazy.
I'll have to give it a go.
Yeah.
And then and he gets 38 million views on all his videos,
Yeah, it's
and there's
crazy.
no comments
really?
on.
Yeah.
You would absolutely love it. Now, the other thing that you're very prominently doing, still regularly, is painting. Is that something that you would have liked to have pursued if you weren't doing footy full time, or is it something you still pursue?
It's always just been like a hobby for me and like something on the side that I've liked doing. I don't know if I could be like an artist full time post footy. I just feel a little bit like solitary, and then it comes and goes in motivation for me. So sometimes I'm like right into it, got a great subject matter to paint. I like doing paintings for other people. So like rather than putting a body of work together for out of my own sort of imagination, I'd rather do. Or sometimes that might be good, but I'm more motivated to do it when I've got to do it for someone else.
Your style that you were doing seems to be like you do street art a little bit, or like wall art.
Yeah.
Is that something you're interested in, or is that just by happenstance that you do?
I love working with spray paint on a big wall. I love seeing big murals, but you can also use it on canvas. Mostly canvas stuff's just oil and acrylic, like brushwork. But yeah, I love just the effect. Like when you drive past and see a big epic mural, I just find that so cool.
Do you have any artists that you like in Australia or around that?
I love Ben Quilty's work. Do you know Ben Quilty? He's won a few Archibalds, and then I love Tim Storier's work. He does like these great Australian landscapes.
I love landscape.
Yeah, if you go Tim Storier, his work's like spectacular. I think he's based in Sydney, but they're two very famous Australian artists. But I love like the street artists like Soffles or Smug One.
Who's the bird
cool.
guy?
Deviate or Deviate or whatever.
Did you watch?
What he writes.
There was a lot around North Melbourne. Actually, there was a lot of the birds around North Melbourne before he got caught.
Yeah, there's a couple there.
He got caught.
There's another one. Adnate. Adnate's a brilliant artist. I love his work.
And how do you follow? If you want to follow art, do you just follow their Instagrams and see how they?
Yeah, I follow all their Instagrams. Yeah, and that's the great thing about like Insta now is you can actually get an insight to see how they structure up work or cool videos and how the pieces come together, all that stuff, which wouldn't have had earlier.
Are you willing to fess up and admit that you are a street artist and and you're one of these people?
Graffiti.
Yeah.
No, I'm not willing to fess that up.
His hands are covered in paint, like he's literally just walked off a wall. I can see he's been throwing them up.
Train
all the way
line over there. Yeah.
Do you listen to footy media because you feel quite connected to it?
Yeah. No. I try not to, but it's hard not to. I mean, if you have social media, it always popping up, and like. Especially stuff tailored to you, like that's what the whole feed is. So I don't have Facebook. I've deleted Facebook at the moment, but I've still got Instagram. But I just try to like, when you're not going, when it's not going as well, there's no point in listening and reading to all the stuff because everyone is basically just potting you, and there's just no like benefit of buying into any of it. You really have to listen to what is being said within the club, like that's all you can focus on, because as soon as you start buying into narratives outside of people who aren't at the club, who've got no idea what's actually going on and what we're trying to achieve and the conversations we're having there, and how the players are actually feeling within the club of what's going on game day and not on game day, like that's the stuff that really matters. But it is hard to not, because when I don't even follow North Melbourne on Instagram. So I used to when I was younger, buy into it a bit, and you'd click on, you'd see a post and you click on the comments, see what the fans are thinking, and you scroll down and all of a sudden there's one on you, and whether it's good or bad, like you can be pumped up. But if that's the validation you're getting from all these people who don't know anything about what you do on day to day, how you're actually feeling, what it takes to play AFL footy and all that, and if you're getting validation from them pumping you up, they're also that you're going to get that same shit feeling when you're not going so well and they're potting you. So the validation you get really has to come from inside the footy club and inside your like tight network of friends and family. So although I definitely don't buy into it, but I am privy to it. Yeah,
I see a lot of parallels in what you're saying with what my career journey was, which is like in my early 20s, I was pursuing a career in comedy and living with my parents and had no money and was like on Centrelink for periods of it.
Yeah.
But I could really clearly see the way forward, but no one else could see it.
Yeah.
And the group I was working with, we could really clearly see it, but there was no one coming yet. There was no, and you've just kind of got to, it's horrifying as well, that idea of like, I'm pretty sure this is the way and it logically makes sense to me. But just in that period, people who don't understand having doubt in what you're doing, you've just got to kind of lock in.
Yeah, you got to trust yourself and back yourself in those scenarios and really believe in what you're trying to achieve. Yeah,
You know that movie Moneyball?
Yeah, like love that movie Moneyball. Yeah,
majority of that movie is like it going awfully, but them locking in and seeing where it's going.
Trusting the process. And giving it a go, because it's just like you can't go half in, half out as well. There was that. Yeah, the period at the start where Brad Pitt's like, he's not sure whether, and then he just dives straight in.
Yeah. They force all the trades.
They force him to play the players.
Yeah,
the trades. Yeah, no, it's a ripper.
That's that director's my favourite director, a guy called Benet Miller.
Yeah, so what else has he done?
So he's done, if you like Moneyball, even though they're not sport films, they're still awesome films. So actually, Foxcatcher. Have you seen Foxcatcher?
Yeah.
So good.
Steve Carell, yeah.
Yep. And then another one called Capote. Which is
Truman Capote. Yeah, I've seen them as well.
He shoots apparently for really large amounts of time. So like he'll just keep getting coverage and then reduce down. But Moneyball's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good.
Apparently majority is bullshit. Like a lot of the way things went down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like,
oh, damn it.
But like, it's a Michael Douglas book, I think, and the philosophy. Like, it's one of those films. Like, looking back on movies from 20 years later, people often go, "Well, it's not this, it's not that," but Moneyball has stayed. Like, people still love that movie, despite it would have come out when you were like 10.
Yeah, great score as well.
Yes,
good score. Like, it's so important having a good score in a movie.
Well, lucky you're with this guy. This guy is a TV and film scorer over here.
Really?
Yeah.
What would be your favourite? What are your like top 3 or 5 sort of best scores?
Oh, that is a great.
I'm gonna guess Tom's favourite.
Guess him.
So he thinks that the Tenet score is really, really good.
I haven't seen Tenet.
Yeah, well, I don't actually rate the movie, but I go back for the soundtrack
Hans
every
Zimmer?
time.
Is it Hans Zimmer?
No, it's the first time Nolan didn't work with
Hans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did
Hans
Ludwig Göransson. He was on Dune, which is another one of my favorites.
It's a ripper,
Yeah, Dune's a great score. Fun stuff. There'd be another Zimmer one as well. I think like Inception or Interstellar.
Interstellar's iconic.
Interstellar's so good. What else? But you know what? Also like with Gladiator is good. But also like Pirates of the Caribbean is an epic score as well, to be honest.
What else do I like as far as scores go?
Oh, Ex Machina is that one. Have you seen Ex Machina?
I've seen the movie. I can't remember the score from it though.
It's very subtle and slow, but it's really emotional and clever. Yeah,
that's good. Social Network.
Oh yeah, of course.
Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor.
Yeah, that is an absolute classic.
So Soul with Pixar is also him doing half of it, but then also Jazz is a very good one.
Yeah. John Baptiste on the
John
keys.
Baptiste, pianist, blues pianist.
Fantastic. Yeah.
They they go a long way into making a movie great, don't they?
Yeah, so Trent Reznor, before he was even a film scorer, was a film scorer. So in 9 Inch Nails, you like Alice in Chains, so maybe you're like a grunge guy from the 90s.
Yeah.
He has this album called Ghosts, which is just these samples, like of literally, I would play them, but we'll get blacklisted. He literally just these really simple chord progressions and things like that. And it was him on his pathway to doing film scores. But one of them, Ghosts, I think it's 9. I'm going to be wrong on that.
No, I think it is.
It's literally just like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And it's Old Town Road. So Lil Nas X just took it and put Old Town Road over it.
Really?
Yeah. And so now Old Town Road is like 50% Trent Reznor's.
Yeah, it does feel like sometimes scores can just be 2 notes.
Yes.
And just played like really softly between each other.
Well, I just watched Dunkirk.
Sets a mood.
Dunkirk is, you know about the model of that, like how they built the music for that?
No.
Fascinating. So tell them about that.
I don't actually know it.
Well, it's your favorite thing. It's that scientific thing where music is always rising. Have you ever heard that anomaly thing?
No, but it makes sense, yeah.
Where you can hear notes just constantly rising, but then they mix it in so that the rising never ends.
Yeah.
So when you listen to that,
really?
So Dunkirk starts, and as they're trying to get off France and get back to England before the Nazis
slowly
come.
rising
the whole movie, the tension is constantly rising the whole movie.
Yeah, I did know about this. I can't believe I blanked on it, but yeah, very, very clever.
He put it in one of our shows once. He started a show and just kept going like this. Yeah, no, so that's cool. You like Alice in Chains? Who else are your 90s bands?
I like Alice in Chains. I like Pearl Jam.
Did you go and see Pearl Jam last year?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How was that in a big room?
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Yeah, I went with Finbar, Charlie Comben, Riley Hardiman
at Marvel.
And like, well, we were going like nuts. Like you got to go nuts at a rock concert. We were all standing there, but some North fan was nearby and got footage of me like on Finbar's shoulders.
Oh, really?
Going bananas.
Finbar's
it was the encore. They were singing "Rockin' in the Free World," and like, you know, they were going nuts, and I was on Finbar's shoulders and I was going bananas. And anyway, they sent it into, I don't know, Charlie. They sent it to Charlie Common or something because they must have seen he was there. He sent it to the club. So every time in pre-game meetings, not every time, but sometimes in pre-game meetings, they'll just chuck that video of me going like this.
But that's like,
can't believe it.
That's like 400 centimeters of height. Yeah, like that's
it sticks out pretty high. We were trying to get on the big screen. They just flashed to people who were like on shoulders and stuff. Didn't get on there, but
do you remember
someone's phone.
The Pixies opened that? And Pixies are an iconic band and like almost like the restart of grunge. But I heard them opening wasn't great. Did you see much Pixies?
Well, we didn't go for the Pixies. Yeah. I didn't pay much attention to the Pixies, but those guys. I can't wait for Oasis. Love Oasis. Yeah, gonna go 2 nights.
Do you go anywhere but Marvel for shows, or do you just go?
No, well, most shows at Marvel, but I love Kingswood as well. You know Kingswood? Yeah,
I've never met Kingswood, but we're adjacent to them. Not in the music world.
One of my best mates, his cousin's the lead singer, so we've always followed them like growing up, and we go to like most of their gigs.
Kingswood are sick.
They're unreal. Yeah,
that era as well of like British indie were really good in that era as well. And who else is it from that? I'm trying to think. Back to Oasis. Do you think they'll get here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I'd be surprised if they make it all the way, you know, to Australia after all those gigs. But I'm more hopeful. I'd do anything to see those guys live. But and I wonder as well if Liam's voice holds up like the whole way.
He can't hit the whole range anymore, can he?
No, it doesn't seem though. I mean, he's still on his night. He sounds still unbelievable. But if he's doing a world tour, multiple nights, singing all Oasis tracks, like belting out, I don't know how it'll hold up.
It's surprisingly really funny. Like him in particular, really funny.
Just naturally, like effortlessly.
Yeah.
They don't sort of try.
No.
It's literally just who they are.
They're locked in. Have you watched the Supersonic doco?
Yeah.
Where it talks about which one was it, Liam? One of them was never musical and then got hit in the head with a hammer.
Liam.
Really?
Yeah.
He got hit.
Knocked the music into him.
And then he started to see colours of he really just opened
It's a seizure or whatever it's called.
He credits that guy who hit him in the head with a hammer for like a whole of Oasis.
You should try that with some North players as well. See if that wakes up. But I was going to say, I was listening to SEN the other day, not to brag, But someone called into Monday Madness, Dwayne's World, Dwayne Russell, Pipe, and they said, as a North fan, I'd love to know from the club what I should be looking for when I go every week. What should I be looking for? This is to close it out. What should I be looking for? What's the, if this is, we're trying to do this.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we make under no illusion that like there's some performances which just haven't been up to scratch. So like last week against Carlton, we were like bitterly disappointed with how he played, and I feel for the fans and the people who front up every week to look for those little things, which I was saying to talk about in a second. But like performances like that, there isn't much to go, be really hopeful for, and that's why we knew that as well. And you cop your flack each week for that week from the media and whatever it is, because it actually is deserved. But what I think you look for is one, how long we want to be in games like every game we play. So where we've come from is, losing most games by 60, 70 points. So I feel like we've been, bar maybe 2 games this year, in every game that we've played.
The Melbourne one was a blowout, but let's not talk about that.
Well, and it's also, I think you're looking for like the little wins from individual players all over the ground. So like Paul Curtis, I'd say that is a huge win. Like I've known Paul since he obviously came, but I've known how good of a player he can be. And he's in, all Australian form. The Charlie Comben down back, just him keeping on building. Like his game against the D's was really special, his marking. But even on the weekend, his ability to spoil a lot of those balls coming in and just send the ball into the crowd through spoiling was really positive. You look at George Wardlaw, X again. I just think the individuals, just
watch the individual
getting them when they all feel super super comfortable at the level and have enough experience, then that it'll click more as a team. I think it's still the youngest team in the competition, even with Parks JD addition from what we put in this year. So knowing and understanding that as a fan, and I think the fans do understand that, but also accepting that 50 plus point losses are not acceptable anymore from the amount of years that we're doing it. But it's just, I think what you should look for is those little signs of improvement in the individuals.
That game against Melbourne was really scary because not only they clicked, and it will continue to click more and more, you would imagine, but then also the fan base, who are humble in size at the moment, were just so loud and feverish and quite scary. There was another game last year, went to Gold Coast North at Marvel, and I think there was a small number there, but they were horrified. They were so loud. They are ready to go, and when it turns, they're gonna go off.
100%. I've always thought that with the North fans is, while what we lack in numbers make up for in spirit and heart, and I just got a great appreciation for the people who still rock up to the games, who still have positivity for the club, who still back us in. It's honestly amazing considering our form over the last 8 years. Yeah, and it's to keep fronting up and keep backing us in and believing. Cannot be more thankful enough for the fans that we do have. And when you get a result like the D's, why it was so special, it was special for all us players because we'd been working towards that feeling for ages, but it was also really special for the whole North Melbourne community who'd been waiting for a game like that, not just a win by, crawling to the finish line by a couple points or getting lucky here or there. It was a convincing good win for the club and the first one in a while. And so that's why it was so special, because you could share it with the whole North Melbourne community who's been, deprived of that feeling for ages.
Were you in town for the W flag last year?
Yeah. We all went to the game.
It was awesome.
That was unbelievable. The feeling after that was just so special. What they brought to the club, has been unbelievable for North.
I say every time it's brought up, but Carney got dropped, and then I think she got it on, and then someone kicked a goal, and then she turned back to who dropped her and gave her the thumbs up. And it was just, no camera caught it, and I'll keep telling him about it forever. There's so much vibe around that team, but also that standard icon just full of North people going off was great.
Well, hopefully they can go again this year. I mean, I think they've only gotten stronger. Yeah. And they're a really tight bunch of girls. and just, you know, like they're good people as well. So it's just like Clark always talks about, you know, in order to have a good team, you need good people in there as well. And, you know, it's something to sort of strive towards because they're, you know, the people they've got in place are really good, but they're obviously playing some great footy. So hopefully, and their groups, you know, primed again to go back to back, hopefully.
Who's the goodest bloke in your side?
The goodest bloke?
If you need good
we got some absolute legends. Who's the best bloke? Probably Lukey McDonald.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's a ripper. And, you know,
I remember when he was drafted because he's a father-son, but that's when North used to go to like the hills in America every year.
Yeah, I went to Utah. Yeah.
Did you only go to any of them? Or
I went to it on the last year that I did. Yeah.
There was just this vibe in the 2010s that you had to go to Utah to win.
Yeah.
And I just like, everyone just kept going. And then Virgin was like, if you make a good video, we'll send your team to America. Like it was this, if you don't go to America, you're going to lose thing for a little period.
Maybe we should go back there.
Yeah, I think you should.
Go to Gold Coast.
There'll be tariffs now, unfortunately, though,
Yes.
but you got to figure that out. Nick, thank you so much for coming, mate. And thank you to the Love the Game team for having Nick in here. Have a great season, mate. When it turns, can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks so much for having us, guys.
Thanks, Souv.
This is a Grouse House podcast.